All right, thanks everybody for joining us. My name is Alicia Bement. I'm a Partner Development Manager here at E1 Solutions. Today we're going to be talking about SmartConnect, specifically around Dynamics 365 Business Central and NAV. So when I say Dynamics 365 Business Central or Business Central, I am referring to Business Central in the cloud. NAV on-premise or Business Central on-premise, SmartConnect works with all three of those. But I'm going to refer to it as Business Central today. So for today's agenda, we're going to be talking about what SmartConnect is, some examples of why you would use it or how you would use it. I'm going to go into a demo of SmartConnect as well, so you can see how the tool works with different integration points. We'll go through some pricing as well as some Q&A at the end. All right, this is my favorite diagram because I think it really says a lot about SmartConnect. If we start at the top, everybody has a data source, right? Where do you want that data to come from? It could be Dynamics CRM, NAV, Business Central, Zendesk, Concur, NetSuite, etc. Any of those are available. The one big thing I want to point out here are these web services, right? So anything that has a REST API, we're going to be able to connect to as well. Okay, so maybe if it's a Shopify or Magento, WooCommerce, etc. So even though you may not see your system in this diagram, I want you to know that there are hundreds of different areas that we can connect to. These are just some of the more common ones we have displayed. So if there's ever a question, can you connect to XYZ? Certainly feel free to shoot us an email or give us a call. We would love to discuss that integration scenario with you. Okay, but once you have your data source, right, where that data is coming from again, you should be able to draw a line straight to the bottom of this screen to your destination. Okay, so we're taking any source and we're moving it to any destination. Okay, and in the same instance, from the destination, you should be able to draw a line straight back up and move it back into your data source. So SmartConnect is not just a one-way integration tool, it is definitely a two-way integration tool. Okay, and as you know, integrations are complicated, they're hard, and that's why SmartConnect exists, right? Because over the last 15 years, we built out SmartConnect because so many people came to us and said, we need a tool that our functional consultant can use without us hiring a developer, without us maintaining that code, a tool that's going to be able to move with us when we move our business as well. Maybe we switch our ERP system, maybe we switch our CRM system, maybe we upgrade those different systems, maybe we add in different systems. Okay, that's where SmartConnect is going to come into play and be really, it'll evolve with your businesses as well. Okay, so data source, destination. Everybody has a data source and a destination. And we come back to that transformation box, right? How do you transform that data specific to your business? Because every business operates differently. So we can do things like calculations, maybe adding a first name and a last name together off of a website and creating a contact inside of a Business Central system. We can do translations, scripting, rolling columns, right? Maybe grabbing that next invoice number that's coming off of a website inside of Business Central, or creating that next invoice number. Pre-run validations. Maybe we want to check to make sure that data is even valid before we push it in. Chaining maps together. Okay, let's say inside of Business Central, I have to be able to create a contact before I can actually create an invoice for the customer. So I'm going to chain a couple integrations together that kick off. Once one integration is complete, another one kicks off for us. Okay, so that's transforming the data. This trigger section is now saying, when do you want that integration to run? Okay, do we want those to be real-time integrations? Do we only want to track the changes since the last time that integration happened? We can manually run SmartConnect from within SmartConnect itself, or we also have an Excel add-in that a lot of people love to use, and I will show you that in just a bit here as well. We can also schedule out the integrations to run whenever you'd like them to, okay? And we can also call different web services or call our own SmartConnect web service as well. Some examples of how you would use SmartConnect. So duplicate data entry, I think that's a pretty obvious one. It's probably between duplicate data entry and moving data between systems. I think those are two really common scenarios when people look for a tool like SmartConnect, right? Touching back on the duplicate data entry. Let's say you're copying and pasting data from an Excel spreadsheet into Business Central, or even between different systems, copying, pasting, or maybe there is duplicate times you do that within a system. For example, maybe you are opening up an invoice, applying a payment to that when you receive a check, for example, and you're doing that 10, 15, 100 times a day. Well, wouldn't it be easier to pull all those open invoices into, let's say, a spreadsheet, apply all those check amounts at one time, and then push them all back in? So those are just some examples of how you can reduce that duplicate data entry and those repetitive different tasks during the day, okay? And like I said before, that kind of goes along the same lines of moving data between systems, right? If I don't need to type in one system, let's say Business Central, and type in another system, let's say our CRM system, then I'm going to use a tool like SmartConnect that can update one system when a change is made and update that change in another system. Imperfect data. I think this is a really fun one that oftentimes people don't think about, cleansing the data or, using a tool like this for imperfect data. So let's say, for example, in one system, you have a northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest for sales territories. Let's say, for example, inside a CRM. Okay, so you have sales territories set up that way. Inside of Business Central, all you have is north and south. So what we can do with SmartConnect is translate that data from saying northeast, northwest to just north in Business Central. Okay, so SmartConnect allows you, when your data doesn't match up specifically between one system to another, it allows you to translate that data so they do match up, so you can integrate the different areas between the systems. And then, of course, automation, right? Being able to automatically move that data from one system into another, okay? My favorite is how we use this internally as well. All of our systems internally are used with SmartConnect, okay? So anytime somebody purchases SmartConnect off of our website, we have SmartConnect run in the background that goes ahead and creates that contact for us inside of our CRM system. We also have it create the actual module and the expiry date from when you purchase the software. We also have it creating that same contact address and an invoice inside of our Business Central system. So SmartConnect is completely all hands off for us there. So just some examples that you could use SmartConnect for. All right, let's move into a demo of SmartConnect. So we'll jump right into the tool here. If you want to follow along, you can go ahead and go to bit.ly/SC1 demo. You'll see at the bottom of your screen here, bit.ly/SC1 demo. Okay. And what that's going to bring you to is it's going to bring you to an e-commerce website that we have set up, okay? So just think of this as being any third-party website. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that data off of that website and we're going to move it into our Business Central system as well as Dynamics 365. In this case, it's CRM, and we're going to watch those all work together. So let's jump into here. And this is that website that we created. Once again, don't get caught up on this just being this one specific scenario. Think of this, as any third-party site or any third-party data that you might have sitting out there, okay? Maybe it's Concur, maybe it's Shopify, maybe it's Magento, maybe it's WooCommerce, maybe it's, Zoho. There's thousands of different applications out there. So I want you to think about us just taking data from that one system or those different systems and moving it between different systems here in this example. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill this out. We'll do Anna Anderson. We'll do Anderson Inc. for her company. And let's order a couple products. I'm going to order one unicycle. Not sure why I need a broken rim, but we will order a couple of broken rims as well. And we're going to submit that. Okay. In the background, what's happening is SmartConnect is taking that data and it is creating a contact for me inside of Business Central. It's also creating an invoice for me inside of Business Central. In addition to that, we've created a marketing list inside of our CRM system. We've also created a contact or an account inside of our CRM system as well, okay? So this is once again where you would use a tool like SmartConnect. As you know, integrations are hard. That's why you come to a tool like this to use an easier tool to help build those integrations out, reducing those manual processes, right? I would have normally had to have gone into those different systems and copy pasted or duplicated those different entries or creations for me. So we can see here we have this Anderson Inc. Okay, so I created that account here. I'm going to open up the invoice that we created as well. So if we go ahead and open this up, we're going to see here that I have those 2 broken rims and a unicycle. Okay, so we created that off of that website. SmartConnect pulled that all in for us without us touching a thing. Okay, so we say, well, that's great. Sometimes, I have to manually enter these invoices. Okay, so that's where we've built out things like our Excel add-in. Okay, so our Excel add-in allows us to take any refreshable spreadsheet and bring in data from anywhere, right? So any refreshable spreadsheet, we're able to add in our add-in, and that allows us to push data between different systems, okay? So it's not just into Business Central. We could be maybe uploading a list of leads from a major event into CRM or into our Salesforce system, right? It could be any of those different scenarios. In this case, this is a template that we actually built out, okay? So this is a sales invoice template. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look for my company here that we just created. And when I find it here, so Anderson Inc., I am gonna go ahead and create that reference just like I would do if I was creating it inside of Business Central itself, okay? And instead of giving us a unicycle, because I cannot ride a unicycle, I have tried and it did not end up very lovely, I'm going to give us a performance bicycle, something that has 2 wheels on it that I know I can ride around the city with. So what this is going to allow me to do is this template. It's already set up for you. We've built a bunch of these out on our website at smartconnect.com. You can go ahead and grab these and install them. And it allows you to stay out of Business Central or do multiple things at one time, right? So maybe I want to enter multiple invoices at one time, okay? So if I go ahead up to this Business Central templates on the upper left-hand side of the screen, I'm going to go ahead and run this invoice entry, okay? And so what this is going to do is this is actually going to create that new invoice for me inside of Business Central, okay? And once again, this is all, it's not touching anything, right? So I didn't have to go through the process of logging into Business Central and then creating those invoices one after another. It kind of keeps those users outside of the system itself. Okay, we're going to say, by the way, we've successfully created this invoice. So let's go into Business Central here. Okay, so we'll go into Business Central. I'm going to refresh this page real quick, and we can see here now that we have 2 invoices for Anderson Inc. And if I open up that second invoice, we can see here that that performance bicycle now has a quantity of 3 in here. Okay, so just different ways that you're able to use SmartConnect. In this case, we manually ran that integration, but if we wanted to automatically create those from the website, we did that as well. All right, now I talked about us moving data between different systems, okay? So I want to jump into a different system in this case outside of Business Central, because oftentimes people, have more than one system that they have to connect to. So we can see here that off of that initial website where I entered my data, we can see that we created an account inside of Dynamics 365. In this case, obviously, Dynamics 365 CRM. Okay, but let's say this customer calls in and I want to add a bit more information. Okay, I'm going to set this relationship type to being a customer, and let's find an address for this customer as well. Let's put them in Vermont, and I'm going to go ahead and save this. Okay. So the reason I set this relationship type to a customer is because SmartConnect allows us to filter our data as well. Okay, so not everything needs to be in bulk loads moving between systems. Okay, when I set this relationship type to a customer, what it's saying is that once it's set to a customer, then I want the data to flow between different systems. So I added an address in here as well. Okay, so now we're going to move that data into a different system. The other thing that you'll notice is that you will see here that Anderson invoice, right, with those performance bicycles came in here as well as that initial invoice that was put in for that unicycle. Okay, so let's just click into this real quick. With SmartConnect, open this up. We also have the ability to add in additional tasks. Okay, so in this case, what we did is if we go into our activities with SmartConnect, we went ahead and added an activity on here as well. So the activity just says, all right, since this person purchased a new bicycle, now maybe we can sell them a helmet or a service pack or something like that. Okay, so the main point I want to get across here is that with SmartConnect, you're able to add on additional tasks outside of just the main integrations, right? So once again, reducing a lot of that manual entry, creating those additional things for your sales team to do, etc. All right, so a couple other things I want to point out on this screen. You might see this little Skippy guy jump roping there. This is going off a little bit off of SmartConnect, but this is another product we have called PopDoc, okay? And what it allows us to do is it allows us to see data from different systems embedded inside of another system, okay? In this case, what we're seeing is we're seeing Business Central data, okay? It also allows us to have actions back into those different systems, okay? So in this case, what it's doing is it's allowing us to drill back into our Business Central system, okay? And now we're seeing that address that SmartConnect actually integrated, okay? So that's a full integration with SmartConnect with that address. But where PopDoc is different is this is just a view of the data, right? So in this screen here, we're just seeing an insight into Business Central in this case. So we're just viewing the data. It's not actually fully integrated. And in this bottom one, the invoices, we've actually fully, truly integrated the data between different systems. Okay, so oftentimes I get questions about that, maybe I don't want to do a full integration. Maybe there's only parts of my whole process that I want to do full integrations with. So we give you the options, to integrate your data or to not integrate your data. So two different products there, but I thought I'd give you the option there as to whether or not you want to integrate that data or not integrate that data. All right, so now we've seen data move between different systems. Let's talk about what actually powers those integrations, okay? So this is the SmartConnect interface itself. When we open SmartConnect, we get a dashboard that looks like this. It tells us the last processes or integrations that have ran, whether they were successful or unsuccessful, okay? If we go down the left-hand side, underneath the Connections tab, we can see all the different connections that we've built out, okay? If we want to build a new connection, we just go ahead, click on that Create Connection, and we're able to add in different connectors for us, okay? Underneath our data sources, we have those options to be able to do a bulk data source, right? Maybe bring in all that data at one time. We can also have a change triggers. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, just taking a look at that data that's only changed from one system to another and only integrating the data that's changed from one system to another, and also adding in those different real-time integrations. Okay, this processes section, this is where I'm actually going to spend a little bit of time here. I'm going to open up an integration that we've already created. Okay, so underneath those processes you saw where I was scrolling through, those are different processes that I've built out. Okay, so when you open up an integration process, we're going to work our way from the left to the right hand side of this screen. Okay, so when we initially set it up, we're going to give our integration an integration ID, right? Something that you're going to remember what that integration's for. In this case, we have Business Central products going into Dynamics 365 CRM. So this is the integration that moved the products from one system to another. Underneath our source data, we had a bulk data source in this case, but once again, could be those changes or those real-time events. And once again, those sources, right, could be multiple different sources. The one thing that I want to point out here that I think is really important is that no matter what your source is, no matter what your destination is, you're going to come to this same exact screen every time, okay? You're just going to change the source, but the same interface is going to stay, okay? So you don't have to worry about learning a new interface every time you change between, different sources and different destinations. This interface is going to stay the same for you. Okay. Underneath our target, this is where, in this case, it's our destination. Okay, we just called it a target because that's where you're targeted to, that's where your data is going to. In this case, it was customer engagement or CRM. Once again, wherever you want that data to go, that's where you would set up your target. Okay, in the same instance, you would select your destination down here. In this case, we're selecting an organization since it's customer engagement. But it could be any companies that are in your ERP, etc. So it can go to multiple companies as well. All right, so now this is where we set up the actual integration. So underneath this target integration, what we have on the left-hand side is all of our target, right? All of our destination columns. On the right-hand side of our screen, we have all of our sources, okay? So if we click on this drop-down box, we're going to see all of the different sources that we had coming in from Business Central and moving into Dynamics 365 CRM, okay? So you're going to see all those in a list from a pick down or a drop down box here. In addition to this, if we go underneath our additional columns, this is where we have, or where we can create those different translations maybe that we did, okay? I'll put in a test here just so we can take a look at some of the other ones, right? Maybe we're doing those calculations. Maybe we're adding rolling columns, entity lookups, global variables, etc., list lookups, all those different additional columns that may not exist out of the box with between your source and your destination. This is where you're able to set those up. Once you have those set up, then those are going to show up over here in these little drop-down boxes, okay? Let's go underneath the task tab here. This is where we can add in additional tasks. Once again, I'll just create one really quick here. So I think my favorite task is actually the send email task. This allows us to send emails on successes or failures of SmartConnect. I think most commonly this is used for when scheduled integrations are happening, because if you think about it, you don't really know what's happening in the background, right? So if you have a scheduled integration, it runs once a day, once, every so often, however often you want those set up to run, but you don't see it actually happening. So with the email task, you are able to set up notifications essentially that email you on successful integrations or most commonly on failures, okay? And you can have this, sent to anybody or a group of people on an email, etc. You can have it include the different process errors that you have. You can also give it an additional task, right? So you can say that, maybe on a successful integration, do XYZ. If it's a failure, stop the integration process or continue on, etc. Okay, so just some other really neat things that we can do there. When we talk about error processing, I do want to touch on this because I think it's really unique to SmartConnect. We have a really cool interface here that allows us to see the errors that are happening in the background. Okay, so if I click on this, I'm going to say, all right, here's the Business Central invoice that we received. Okay, but what's really neat about this is that from within this screen, I'm able to fix what went wrong. Maybe it's an invoice number that was off or an address or something like that. I'm able to fix that within the screen and rerun that integration right from within the screen. Where this is really powerful is, when you're initially setting up those integrations and things are failing, this is a great way to be able to see what's happening there. Or let's say that you have 10,000 records that you're pushing in at one time and 4 of them fail. Okay, those 4 you're going to be able to create or fix those within this screen, and then just rerun those 4 integrations, or those 4 records, excuse me, right from within this screen. Okay. All right, let's jump into the scheduler. Okay, so if we go into the scheduler here, just gonna pick one. What we do is we select the integration that we want to put on a schedule. We can tell it once again, daily, weekly, monthly, once at the end of every month for a report or something like that. We can set those to repeat as often as we would like. Okay, so lots of flexibility there. All right, so that is SmartConnect itself in a nutshell. Let me hop back into my PowerPoint here. Just a second. And let's talk about some pricing here, okay? So basically, SmartConnect can be purchased on a subscription-based plan. I think the most common is the standard or professional. You can get into SmartConnect for up to 4 connections or up to 6 connections for $400 a month. So relatively inexpensive to be able to do that, okay? The other thing is we have a whole host of different trainings that you can take online. So we have online private training as well as online public training to be able to enhance your ability and your understanding of being able to create those integrations. All right, last couple of slides here. If you'd like to learn more and get started with SmartConnect, feel free to take the product tour at smartconnect.com. Take a look at all those different integrations that we have available. We also have a 30-day trial for SmartConnect. And the last thing that I want to mention here too is I just briefly touched about it, but PopDoc, if you are interested in learning more about PopDoc, it's www.popdoc.com as well. All right, any additional questions, feel free to send them into sales@e1solutions.com or give us a call at 888-319-3663. Thanks, everybody.